Hello, everybody. So I got home and had to start playing with the Hello Autumn. This is so pretty. Wait till you guys see this collection. I get it up here. The Hello Autumn is absolutely gorgeous. It has, let me tell you, a lot of it, and you're going to see it in the papers from it that I'm going to use for this cute box. It almost looks like there's a lot of watercoloring in here, especially when we get to the farms. But this is so cute. It's going to be a great gift. And I actually am working on some extensions to it because I had one of our members give me a gift and ask me if I could recreate it. But it's kind of complicated. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So anyway, it's time for a new pencil box holder. But it's also going to be a great gift. You can make these for your coworkers out of Christmas paper, but it will hold your pens, so it will be open. Hi, Sandy. It has been a long time, but also the lid. So there's other uses for this, but I need to tell you, if you're going to make this with the lid and change it around so it is interchangeable, I put mine on the bottom. Another thing I'm going to use this for is this is going to be hot cocoa packets. So when I open it, let me show you. And there's our cute little lid. So again, it will go top or bottom. Now mine's not fitting because I did put decorations here on the side. So that will be one thing to consider if you're going to use this with the lid on top. And it's not going to go because I put those on foam squares. Is then you need to leave some of this off here on the sides if you're going to do a box for the top, a lid for the top and bottom. So when you open this, it will accordion open, and here's the thing. So I'm going to actually make this deeper, and I'm going to put the marshmallows in there and some little mini chocolate candy bars, or different things, or sprinkles. You can even put the jars of sprinkles, and I'm going to put the hot chocolate packets in here, and that's going to be one of our neighbor gifts for the holidays. So I thought, how cute will that be? But so you can see how Hello Autumn, and I'm pretty sure that those are hand drawn. They do a lot of hand drawing at Carta Bella, so I'm pretty sure those are. They're absolutely gorgeous. So again, a lot of different things you can use this for. This one's going upstairs in my kitchen. We never can find pens. We can never find tablets. And my other one is just worn out, totally worn out. So it is also, it'll sit and you can move it around, excuse me, so that you can have room. So that is what we're creating today. Again, if you don't want to add a box lid to the bottom, you could add a tie here. Hi, Tricia. Or you can just leave it. It'll sit just fine. That way you don't have to take a lid off. But for a gift, I always like to have a closure of some kind. These are the chipboards from the collection. Cut aparts. Of course, I'm going to use some different papers. So you can get quite a few of these out of one collection kit. And I did post at the top of this video the cutting guide, but I'll give it again as we're going. Sorry, I'm still having a dry throat. Whoops, let's get our phone. Whoops. Turn this off. Forgot to turn the phone off. Okay. Oh, and then I also wanted to tell you guys, so if you noticed on the schedule, if you're in Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook, the live videos that I'm going to do for our group is every other week. So I won't be live next Friday, but I will be the next Friday. But Authentique will still be every week. Just to remind you of that. Hi, Mary. Okay. So just to let you know too, if you're new to the videos, myself and the designers, sometimes we get cutting guides out, especially if you are in the group, then you'll of Scrapbookers and Country Craft. I can't even talk. I'm so sorry. Of Country Craft Creations, then you will. I usually post the cutting guide in there, and the cutting guide is at the beginning of this video. but also I use a notebook. So everything is just handwritten. So I'd suggest, I always tell crafters to get this notebook. Yeah, the videos are always available. They stay recorded, always. They don't go away. We're going to start with our first sheet of cardstock. And it's 12 by 11. And let me tell you, first you're going to cut the 11, and you need this. We're going to use this as a joining piece. Our paper is only 12 inches long here, so we have to make our own hinge on one piece. So just set that aside. You're going to want to keep it. So it's 12 by 11, and it's very important that you, because I've done it many a times once for score board, you want to score this first piece. Let's get this up a little bit higher. I haven't like readjusted the camera since being home. Hello, Sally. Join us for some happiness. This took 2 sheets of cardstock. This is going to take 2 sheets of cardstock, and I used about 2.5 sheets of the pattern paper. So usually I grab 3 or 4 pieces just to have on hand in case. But we're going to start by scoring. Your 11 inches is at the top. And I'll go slow, so if you're writing these down. So your first score line is going to be 3 3/8. 3 3/8. Hi, Nancy. Your next one, 6 7/8. Hello, Donna, 6 7/8. And our last score on this is 10 3/8. Nope, this doesn't take much at all, and you're going to see why in just a minute. Now, you're going to take, got something on there. Must be ink. That's okay. We're going to take this piece now, and you're going to cut this in half at 6. That's going to give us what we need to create. We just started. So your first sheet, Pamela, is 11 by 12. One sheet of 12 by 12 or 12 by 11 will create our base. So again, I scored it 3 3/8 with the 11 inch at the top. 6 7/8. 10 3/8. That's the very first piece. Now I'm going to put this in my cutter, my big one, because it cuts nicer. And we're going to cut this at 6 inches. Just cut it in half. So now you're going to have 2 pieces. That way we don't have to score them both. Now we are going to do something a little different. We're going to take, it doesn't matter what piece, we're going to cut this piece off of 1. So just put that in your cutter. And this score line we made is a 5/8 of an inch. I wanted a bigger piece to hold this together, so it's you'll see why it's a 5/8 of an inch. So just put it in your scoreboard, either at 5/8 or just so that you can see you're going to cut it completely off. So you're going to have one piece with it and one piece without it. This piece we're using to join these 2 pieces together to create one long piece. And I made it longer because I wanted it to be stronger because we're doing a lot of moving of this. But what we're going to do first, turn this over. The bumps are in the back for my score line. I have the score mark here. I'm going to fold this over, and it doesn't quite reach the center. And well, it doesn't match that line. That's perfectly fine. But this is going to make it super strong. Now, one other thing I didn't do in this video, because I wanted to show you, you could make it with one sheet of paper, and you may have watched other videos when I create these boxes. I usually add a 1/2 inch to the top and a 1/2 inch to the bottom and score it and fold it so it's nice and finished at the edges. You certainly can do that, but you'll need an extra sheet of paper. Totally, totally your choice. And now I'm going to actually glue this down. So we're going to move that glue around. It's really important that you do smooth the glue around. You don't want it to be, you don't want any bulges or anything. Double strength, that is where you want this double strength in this finished edge. Instead of finishing just the 1/2 inch, what I did is I just folded these two edges over so it's really strong. We're going to do the same thing with the second piece that we don't have that 5/8 of an inch. We're going to fold one end over. Again, it will not go to the score line. You have about 1/8 of an inch. And you want that. Otherwise, it'll get in the way of the folding. Back on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. Also, I've already posted the cutting guide for the pattern papers, but I will give them again as we're going. Man, I'm picking everything up off my desk. It's like a magnet down here. So again, I'm going to really burnish that edge because we put glue in there. And just spread, if you're using glue. I would use glue. It becomes just much more permanent. And let's go ahead now and fold on the score line and go ahead and burnish that edge. Oh, hello, Bonnie. And it has your new, Bonnie has her new YouTube. It's called All Things Paper by Bonnie. And you need to go subscribe. And I'll be posting that soon back in our Scrapbookers group and on the internet on our website, countrycraftcreations.com. And you can also pick up all your supplies there. And you'll be able to follow along with her fabulous tutorials. She's not new. She's been teaching at retreats, but she's been stuck in her little hometown. So she's gone to the internet. This one is at my right. This one is at my left. I'm going to just slightly miter. Don't go really deep. Just kind of smooth off that edge. Now we want to attach. I want to turn these over though, because I want it on the inside. So turning it over, we'll put it on the inside. And then you can see what you're doing. Okay. So we want to attach this. Just right up to your score line. Keep your paper straight. See, it's on the inside. You won't even see it. Let's go ahead now and let's burnish those score lines because we flattened them out. We're going to be doing that a couple of times. And let's mat the box. So this is the piece that becomes our box. And I did show this one that we did for Authentique. So I want to also show you on this one. You can actually add more of these pieces if you want it to wrap around. But I'm not going to show that. Very simple. You just would add on another section like you did. And then you could actually have this wrap around. I didn't really see a need for it, but I did have a question if we could make it that way. Yes, you can. Just make another section, add it on, just like you did here, and then you can definitely expand that. Okay, so the cutting guide on your pattern papers, I did post them last night in Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations in our Facebook group, but I did pre-cut mine. And like I said, this paper is just gorgeous. So for matting your, what I'm going to call just kind of our outer shell, this one is, you need a sheet and a half. You need about 2 sheets. So that's about the biggest use of your paper, and you'll use your scraps for matting the rest. So these are 3.5 inches. No, these are 3.5, sorry. So these are 3 3/8. Now this is 6 inches, so we want 5 7/8. So 3, if you want to write that down, 3 3/8 by 5 7/8. And what I'm going to do is I'm using this. Because see that one? I cut the wrong way. So watch your diagonal. So that's going to be the outside. But for the inside, I'm going with the plaid, 3 3/8 by 5 7/8, except for this one. I wasn't paying attention. And I cut mine 4 7/8, but you know what? It's still going to work. We're still good. I'm going to use it on the last one where my post-it notes will go. And Pamela, in the beginning, I don't know if you missed it, I'm actually going to make one that has a bigger tray, and it's going to have hot chocolate packets and bags of marshmallows in it. And you can even put like some candy bar, little Hershey's candy bars if you want to do more s'mores, and put your graham crackers in here, and cute gift. So this little guy is going to go on the end, and I chose the plaid, which is the back side of my leaves. 3 3/8 by 5 7/8, not 4 7/8. So we're going to put those down. I've already inked my edges. Thank you. Sally just posted the cutting guide from off the page. One thing too, your seam needs to be on the inside. So when you're putting down your pattern papers, make sure you check that. Again, I used too much glue. I've got to get I lost my other glue tip, so I'm using a different one. And it gets a lot more glue out there than I need. Yes, it is at the top, your cutting guide and the pattern paper cutting guide. So don't worry if you're not writing it down. You'll be able to grab it from up at top. And then Sally posted the link to this collection, and I think we have some more of the mega packs left. It comes with everything, one of everything, even the coordinating cardstock. And the coordinating cardstock is super pretty. And it's also textured. That's why I love it. Yeah, and the mega pack is really fun because if you don't usually buy some of the, you know, elements that come with the collections. You get one of everything. So you get a chance to really try them out, the different embellishments that come with the collection. And again, I'm just going to make sure I'm smoothing the glue so everything's flat. So I have to tell you, I have a couple of, they're actually healing. Those burns, Sally, those were labors of love for the t-shirts I made with my heat press. I brought down the thing and hit my hand up there and had burned them. So that's what those are, except for one Wilbur. The heat plate got really hot. Okay, there's my inside. Love the plaid. There's also a black and white plaid. Gorgeous. So get some extra sheets of your plaids. I'm going to flip it over. And, oh, so on this one is basically your front. Unless you want it to open the back, but this is the front. This left-hand flap. So I want to make sure I put the pattern paper. If you're doing it separate like this, you may be doing all one color. And this is the back. That'd make a really pretty postcard. But this is where on the plain ones I put the cut apart. Oh, I love Halloween too. And then I just used my acorn around the edges to give it kind of that brown vintage look. Again, these look watercolored. They're so pretty. This is such a gorgeous line. This box, this is fun to make, really easy to make. You just have a lot of matting with it. Oh my gosh, my phone keeps going off. Nobody calls me all morning. Oh, yeah, great teacher gift, definitely. And just a great gift for anybody, the coworkers, so they can keep it on their desk. I need to make a manly one for my husband. He's been asking me to make him something on his desk. And oh, Bonnie, I miss you so much. I haven't seen Bonnie in almost a year. And we had a high hope she was going to be able to escape soon. She's in Canada. That's okay. We'll be together not too long, I hope. You never know. You might be able to get over here in October still. I mean, it could be that last minute, grab that airplane and get on it. Sally, I did not start with you. Sally's just grouchy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and burnish this one more time because we've kind of flattened out our score lines. Bonnie, I did not. Okay, that is the shell. That's all there is to that. Isn't that cool? And we're going to set this aside. The green just matches that truck beautifully. We're going to set this aside because the next thing we want to make is the Post-it note holder. This little guy. And he is 5 5/8 by 5 5/8, so it's a square. And you want to score this really simple. 1 1/8 all the way around. Bonnie, how could you? So 1 1/8 on all 4 sides. Super simple. But he looks too big. Hold on. That is too big. Did I measure that wrong? No. It just looks big. Hold on. That is too big. I don't know what I did here. We're going to have to cut a new piece. So hold on 1 second. Let me remeasure this. It's not too big, but it looks too big. Oh, you know why mine looks too big? Oh gosh, I grabbed the wrong piece of paper. You guys are fine. It is the 5 5/8. I just grabbed the wrong paper. I didn't check my measurement first. It's the wrong piece of paper. That's our lid. No, I gave you the wrong. I gave you the right size. I grabbed the lid piece. I took the wrong one. Sorry. It is 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. I didn't check my measurement, and it is 1 1/8. So we are still, we're good. 1 1/8 by 1 1/8. See, Sally just got me so upset. So it is correct. 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. 1 1/8 all 4 sides. So for me, my little my lid, I will just fix my score marks. I'll cut a new piece. So I did tell you right. Grab my clothespins. So always check your piece of paper before you start scoring it to make sure it's the right size. Okay. Doesn't matter what size you start on because this is all the same size. We just want to cut straight up. Angle. I turn this over and then I just angle it again. I don't want to cut into the wrong spot. Now we're just going to go across. And we're going to mat this first. We're going to mat everything except, see the ones with the tabs? We can mat those. We can't mat the untabbed pieces inside because we have to hook these guys together. So let me grab our Post-it note matting. And what I'm going to use is the orange plaid inside. So you can cut these all from the leftover pieces for the inside and outside. And then I'm going to go with, see, that was the cute farmhouses. And I'm going to use the leaves. You love the Wilbur pictures. And our pieces that go inside, I cut mine 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 to fit right inside there, and then one on the bottom because you do see the bottom. Well, if you turn your box upside down. So I'll probably use the leaves on the outside. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Oh, the collage one that I posted. Yeah, he's having a little tummy trouble. He's going to the vet tomorrow. We had I have a local grocery store that delivers. Really nice lady, but she doesn't know Wilbur's health history, and she gave him, we think, a milk bone. He can't have milk bones. He had trouble as a puppy with bloat, and oh, it's been terrible this week, Pam. So I did change his food. Yes, Stacy, this is in my store, and we have what they call mega packs, and it'll have everything in it. This is the Hello Autumn. And then Sally did post a link, but it's up above in the comments. So Pamela, I have been boiling him chicken and brown rice. Now he won't eat his dog food. So there's the inside, and I'm going to turn it over and go ahead and mat the outside. Now your outside pieces are 3 1/4 by 1, and you need to cut. Yeah, you need to cut 8 of these, 3 1/4 by 1. And it looks like I'm going to do leaves inside and out. Yeah, he's got the most, Wilbur, Pamela, he has the most sensitive digestive system I've ever seen of a dog. Ever since we brought him home. He just doesn't do well. But he hasn't had any trouble until she gave him a milk bone. He can't have any of those like processed treats. They come right up green for days. So yesterday the dog groomer was here, and I said, don't give him any treats. Yeah, I use my Instapot. Actually, I throw the chicken in there and the rice, the brown rice, and I've cooked it, and he's happy as could be. But now he doesn't want anything to do with his dog food. So I don't think he's getting dog food anymore. Hello, Judy. You know what, Joan? We've tried Science Diet. He came home on Science Diet. Basically, he won't touch it. He'll go days without eating. So he's going to be getting that, what is it called? It's the fresh food, because he's not keeping any of it down, and he won't touch it for a 10-foot pole. And when I say 10-foot pole, he will go days without eating. Days. Until we cook him an egg. He's a brat, okay? He's a brat. That's all I can say. Untabbed, do not mat. Tabbed pieces we can mat right now. Yeah, he's just been getting chicken. Tricia, don't feel sorry for him because he's eating it up. He's being spoiled rotten. But we had an expensive, I don't know if some of you may remember when he was 4 months old, he had bloat. We were in the emergency room. That's when we found out he has a problem with foods and with beef, especially beef. So we were feeding him salmon. And then a lady gave him a milk bone. And it's been a terrible week. Okay, before we put our box together, I agree, he should be spoiled. But he really pushes it for a little beagle. He knows. Let's burnish the edges. Oh, he's doing great today now that he's not having any food other than cooked chicken. Always burnish your edges on a box. You want it to be square. And since we kind of flattened those, we need to reform them. I'm going to use my art glitter glue on those tabs. Like I said, I have the whole world calling me while I'm live. My phone keeps going off. Okay. We're going to now repeat on these two ends. Okay, we're going to let that dry for just a minute. And then we are going to go ahead and mat the inside. So let's just give those a few seconds. Our glitter glue, it should pick up pretty fast. UPS man must be here. It's still Friday. We're going to go ahead now and just mat the insides. I know, but they are good doorbells. Yep, it was UPS. I can hear them driving off. So let's just cover those tabs. I'm just going to hold those for a second, then I'll burnish them. And then we can set that aside, but your Post-it notes will fit just great. And if you have some that are a little bit bigger, we're going to set that aside for a minute. And I just need to send a message off to our shipping department. So sorry about the interruption. Okay, now we can move on. This piece is going to be our pencil box. And for the pencil box, you want a piece of cardstock that is 12 by 6. So it's 12 by 6. Okay, back to my screen. And we're going to score these. And we're going to score these at 3 3/8. And you're going to notice these aren't going to be the same size. So 3 3/8, 6. See, this piece is smaller. This is not a perfect square. This is 3 1/2. These are 2 1/2. We needed them to be smaller. And 9 3/8. Now, see, this is the piece where we're going to use that 1 inch. Where'd my little 1 inch go? There we go. You had that 1 inch strip when you cut your 12 by 11 down. And we're going to be using that. Then we're going to turn this to the 6 inch side. So your 6 inches is at the top. And we're going to score it 4 inches. No, we're not. Did I write that down wrong? I did. That's not going to matter. Go ahead and score it at 4. I scored mine at 4 3/4. Like I said, I made this. Here's my sample. Let's measure off of there. Yeah, 4 3/4. Sorry. Don't worry if you scored there. We're going to cover it, and it's not going to show. And we will be adding on, whoops, we need to add on, but we'll be cutting those in a minute with our brown paper because it doesn't quite reach when we put the bottom together, and you'll see that in a minute. So you're going to have a little hole there, and we will cover that. So we're going to go ahead and fold up our score lines. And then we want to cut, we need to cut a strip. I mean, we need to cut from our strip 4 3/4 of an inch from this. And I'm actually going to cut it just a tiny bit shorter. It's going to be our hinge. So I just stop before the 4 3/4. See, it's going to sit here at the top because we don't have a hinge to connect our box together. So we have to make one. And then we're going to score this at 1/2 inch. My heck, I swear to God, this phone has not stopped ringing. And whoops. And you're going to fold that right in half. Now, I didn't cut this one, but the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and just miter that a little bit. And I'm going to match this to the top. And we're going to glue it down. And match it to the side. And now we've got our hinge. Now I like to go ahead and miter it. That way it stays in that line at the top. Okay, let's fold the bottom. Now remember, it's 4. If you did 2 score lines like I did, it's actually 4 3/4. Don't fold that 4.5 inch one. Glue under there. And we're going to cut straight up. Don't miter any edges. We need these straight up. So after you cut those straight up, we're going to mat this. Once again, I'm going to mat the outside first. And the thing to remember is we're going to be attaching to our hinge piece. So you don't want to mat this outside piece. Okay, let me get my pieces and parts for the pencil box. Okay, for the pencil box, oh, I love this one, the apple pie. So the apple pie is going on the outside of mine. And for the inside, I've chosen just kind of the plaid because we've got, I mean, not plaid, but they're just little X marks because we've got so much going on with the other plaids and things. So you need 2 pieces for the bigger ones at 3 3/4 by 4 5/8. I should have known I'd cut that. So 3 1/4 by 4 5/8 for our 2 bigger ones. Hold on. Why is one side bigger than the other? I shouldn't have made this so late at night. I apologize. No, 3 3/8. One of my scoring marks is off. You ever have one of those weeks when you're just off? I'm having one. So hold on. Let me check my box here. I don't know how I scored off. I have something off on this box, and I'm trying to figure out what I've done. Yeah, I don't know what I did because I must have cut that just my matting wrong. This one is longer than this one. Yep, having one of those days, guys. But I'm just making sure we're going to fit okay. We're not going to fit. I scored somewhere wrong. So let me check my score marks while you guys get caught up. We have the other half of this, so if we have to cut a new one, we will. Oh, I'm telling you, you're not going to get anything off with glue. Three and 3/8, 2.5. And let me check my score marks. Three and 3/8. And 9 and 3/8. This should fold up just fine, but it's not. Is yours, guys, is out there? Who's making this with me? And if you are, is it folding up okay? See, for some reason, mine is longer. Okay, I'm gonna cut another one just for fun. Oh, I've got one cut. No, I don't. I'm gonna rescore this just to see what I've done. 9 and 3/8, 6, and 9 and 3/8. That's what I did wrong. Yours is right, mine is wrong. I scored in the wrong place. At least you don't have to cut another piece of paper. Oh, I scored at 9 and 5/8. Okay. Yay! Let me grab a piece of brown. I always hate if I have to tell you to cut a new piece of paper. I feel bad. But yeah, I scored at 9 and 5/8. I don't know why. So 3 and 3/8, 6, and 9 and 3/8. That's my problem. Okay, turn this and we'll score at 4 and 3/4. I love it when it's an easy fix. I'm more human than anybody, let me tell you. Okay, 4 and 3/4. And remember just to stop a little bit there before the 4 and 3/4. it. Score at half. That isn't good. What isn't good? Exactly. Okay. What's the Lisa farmhouse list? Okay, now we're back where we should be. Make sure that's down. Okay, now my box is the right size. Three and a quarter. I didn't cut the bottom yet, but I'm going to 3 1/4 by 4 7/8, 2 of them. 3 1/2, sorry, 2 1/2 by 4 7/8. No, we're going to go all the same color in here. Pumpkin pie. So 2 1/2 by 4 7/8. My inside is just going to be solid. And remember, let's cut straight up. I'll have to burnish those fold lines. Okay, we're back in business. Now we can go ahead and put our matting down. Yeah, the floral, this whole line is gorgeous. Everything about it is gorgeous. I really love it. They've done such a good job. Oh, and to let everybody know, I'm still waiting. The art glitter glue people for your 8-ounce bottles. They're out of 8-ounce bottles. As soon as they get them in, they'll ship my order. Still waiting on score tape sheets. Score tape sheets are still sitting at the border, waiting to get over here. So as soon as everything gets released and they get bottles, we'll have them back in stock. Now, remember, we don't want to mat that last piece because we have to connect our hinge. But we're going to mat the front while it's flat. I'm going to miter that corner. So there's our inside. We'll mat this after it's put together. Now for the outside, look at that. It's just so, so pretty. Nope, goes there. And then let's see if I can match. I don't think I can match my pies up very well because I cut it in scraps. No, doesn't look so. Well, maybe this one. There we go. Those two match. It's not really going to matter because of the way we put this together. Same thing, 2 1/2 by 4 7/8. Well, we have even more new Christmas papers coming, and they should be here today. I think that's what was delivered, Pamela. It's the other new gingerbread and a bunch of different ones. And here comes Wilbur. Hey, bud. Digital in the long run actually is quite expensive when you pay for the ink for some people. Yeah, so we sell everything at countrycraftcreations.com, and it helps support small businesses, even though some, I know, digital files are from small businesses too. So it is important we support the small businesses, especially now. Oh, that guy's a little short. I have to see what he's chewing on. We can't have that. We don't need any more tummy aches. So within 10 seconds, we have teeth marks everywhere. Okay, now let's speed this process up. I'm going to go ahead now and attach the box to the flap that we just made. See, if it's not fitting quite right, because we had to, you know, make that ourselves, just lift it up. There we go, till it fits. Okay, not a cute little box. Then we can mat the inside. We're just going to slide that second piece of 2.5 down. But match the top to other papers if you can. This is where I mentioned now our bottom pieces. See, they don't quite come together, and that's okay. We're going to cut a piece that goes on top. And it was because I had to get this shape that they don't match. So we're going to go ahead and now put these two guys down first. And let's go ahead and add the adhesive here. And we're going to cut a 2 5/8 by 3 5/8 of an inch piece. That's going to cover this for the inside and out. Because this definitely isn't strong enough even to hold your pens or pencils. So we've got to go in there and... Oh, good, Marie. I'm so glad you got them. I'm so sorry we left those out at the retreat, but yay, you got them. Okay. So a 2 5/8, no, 2 3/8 by 3 3/8. I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock. You should have some leftover little ones. And you want to cut 2 of those. And I am going to mat. I will mat these. I kept mine a little short, and that's okay. Because I'm going to put matting on top. But we want to cover it. Inside and out. I'll be more precise with the actual matting piece. So just push that down in there and move it over to fit. Oh, I know. Wasn't that awesome? Fauna, that was so sweet, but she did keep the Wilbur, yes. Okay, so now we've got that little hole covered, and now we've made a really strong bottom. And same thing with our matting. I'm going to actually cut it a full 2.5 by 3.5. And you should have plenty of scraps. They may not be the exact, but I'm okay with that. And then I will trim them if need be, but I do want the whole bottom covered. Well, I can't cut for nothing today. Let's try this again. That box is 3.5. I don't know what's going on here with my cutting. Measure your box. Let's go more like 2 3/4. Two and 3/4. I need to go back and learn to cut. So 2.5. Take a little bit off. It's going to go on the inside, so it has to go in there. Just let it kind of fall. And the bottom of your box doesn't really show, but you don't want it. I mean, it's up to you. I don't want mine to be plain. But I'm tracing the darn thing, so I can't get it to fit for nothing. Okay, this better fit. Hey, almost. And the ink on the edges. It's okay, Pam. It's still not correct. Do you ever have those days? Nothing cuts. Okay, we're not even going to ink these edges because we're going to just put the darn thing down. It's not wanting to play nice today. And I think, you know, it's the way my box, I can see it's just not perfectly square because it's a human being that put it together. No, I'm still waiting on the Nouveau ink and the crocodiles. Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of the garbage. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. All we have to do now is grab our box. I'm so excited. We're finally at this point. We're going to actually put this down here. What happens is we're going to attach it to 2 sides. Okay. So I'm going to start by attaching it to this inside one. And on this, it doesn't matter which side. I mean, it just depends on what you want for your front. And yes, I do mat the piece that goes down, and the reason for that is it's just the extra strength. Now this should fit right on top of the matting, and I'm very impressed that it does at the rate I'm going this afternoon. So we're going to hold this for just a second. Art glitter glue, just burnish it really well for a moment. And I'm going to add my glue to the box. Okay. And I just roll it over. Okay, when I was doing my prototype of this, and then I made the one to show you guys, it went together so smooth. This one's not wanting to cooperate today, but it went on really well. Okay, so now we've created the little spot for our notepads. Now for this labor of love right here. This is truly a labor of love. Okay, you want this, the 2.5 inch side right here. I'm going to show you before we put this down. I'm going to put it on the matting, on the edge of the matting, not the seam, because we're going to fold this over. And then see, that's going to clear the bottom, because you got to make sure it's going to clear the bottom. And then it's going to fold up like so. So this is my 2.5 inch side, and I'm going to put it where my matting is. So it sits sitting on the matting. It gives me just a little clearance at the top. And we're going to burnish it for a few minutes. We're going to hold it down so the glue dries with whatever you have to get in there. It will hold your Post-it notes. It's just a hair bigger. It's 3.5 or 3.25 inches. Okay, now that's going to glue over to that side. Again, just making sure you're going to clear. So it needs to be at the top. Hold it back just a little bit so it's not on the seam. You know where this is going to fold right here, your score mark. So when it opens, yeah, I can see you. Okay, while this is drying, and like I mentioned in the beginning, you don't have to make a lid for the bottom. It just is kind of a nice touch. See, that's actually my front with the trucks. So I did the decorating on the bottom of the lid. And I need to grab that 6 and 5/8 by 6 and 5/8. And I remember I scored it already. Mine was scored wrong. But I'm not going to waste it, so let me just, because we're going to cover this with paper. Okay, the dog is just panting hard. I'm sorry if you can hear her. Okay, so I'm going to rescore this. But I'm going to rescore it like on the opposite side. This is the bumpy side. And I'm going to rescore it at the right score marks. It's 1.5. Donna, how cute would that be? So Donna just said combs and brushes or hair elastics in the bottom. You can make this with a really cute girly paper. So you can also make this with higher sides, which I'll be doing for the hot cocoa ones. How cute is that? So 1.5. Yes, little girls hair bows. 1.5. 1.5 and 1.5. This is if you're going to make your lid. And your lid, so to give you an idea, so if you want this to close, you can make a lid for the top and bottom. It's going to fit top and bottom. Of course, those are upside down. You can put one on the top and the bottom. Now, another thing you can do with this, while it's open, you can leave this flat. If you remember, I made a Christmas box, and you could put little waterfalls in there instead of boxes. And then you could do your cute little top and bottom. Last year I made a bigger Christmas box like that. Okay, let's score on the, let's burnish the 1.5 inch. And once I mat that, it'll be fine. We're going to do the exact same thing. This one we're going to miter an edge. And then the opposite edge, just straight across. Okay, same thing for our matting. Like we did the small one, I'm going to mat the flat surfaces first. And the matting for your lid, 3.5 by 3.5. And you'll want 2 of those. Pumpkin pies on the inside for me, and I'll put the leaves on the outside. Yeah, you can do a lot with this. And actually, I'll be making these extenders. Like I said, I received a really cool, it was pre-made at the Vermont retreat last year, and I've been promising her I would remake it because it was one that she had in a long time. And so this is just the beginning. I'm trying to still figure it out. So hopefully this will have some more extensions to it once I get that figured out. Now, this again is going to be the same, and these are going to be the same length as our matting, 3.5, but these are 1.5. So these are going to be 1 3/8. And I have the plaid, and then I have the leaves, and you want 8 pieces, 4 and 4, and I'm going to put the plaid on the outside, so it'll come up on the box, and I'll put the leaves on the inside of my box. So we're going to do the outside again, 3.5 by 1 3/8. Thank you. This one's been a little rough, Josie. Of course, I haven't really made a lot of them yet, so I made the prototype, this one, and then I made the one for the to show you what we're making, and then I attempted to make this one. This one had a little struggle. Hey, but all the pieces were the same size. We didn't have to recut any paper, so we have to put some credit there. It wasn't too big of a disaster. Oh, I love the fall. I love fall. I'm ready for fall, sort of. I'm ready for next year. That's all I can say. Who's ready for next year? Raise your hand. I'm ready for next year. Okay, let's, whoops. Just knocked him right off. Well, I'm using too much glue. I need to get my right tip on my bottle. Now remember, the inside, if it does not have a flap here, we can't not mat it. We want to be able to hide it. That looks pretty together. Hey, Beth, how are you? Yeah, Beth, you're ready too, huh? You know, I'm not really sick of the hot weather, and I was thinking about that the other day. I mean, I am sick of the hot weather, but then I thought, you know, it's going to be winter, and everybody's going to be saying they're sick of winter, which I love winter, especially in Utah. I don't like spring, early spring in Utah, because it's so wet and it actually is cold. So I really don't want summer to fully end. I mean, I want fall all year long. That's all I can say. But then we wouldn't appreciate it, you know. But summer, yeah, summer can end. Oh my God. Yeah, we can end summer. I just don't like the cold early spring. Okay, we need to reburnish these because we're going to turn this into a box. And we want it to be square, and we don't want it to be, you know, any gapping in our sides. So make sure you burnish it well. Let's make it square. Okay, my matting is sticking out just a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and put our box together. And then remember, just move your sides so they come together. Well, early fall is the best. When it just starts and it's not hot and it's not cold, it's just that comfortable warm. That's what I like. Windows open, don't have to have the air conditioner on. Flies are coming in to eat all your food. That's the only thing with fall. We get lots of flies here. Okay, let's mat the inside. And see, those extra score lines didn't even make a dent in our paper here because we covered them. Now for this little box, I'm going to just show you again how I decorated it. I just used cut aparts. I'm not going to decorate it because I've caused this tutorial to be extra long and it shouldn't have been. Sorry about that. But thanks for hanging out with me and going through our remeasurements. And I'm glad it was my human error of just scoring in the wrong and not having to cut more papers. So The only thing I did for decorating of this, because the paper is just gorgeous, this was one of the sheets I just love, is the cut aparts. And I did map my cut aparts. These are the two I was going to use. These are the 3x4, and I did put them on the brown cardstock at 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. These two are so perfect for that, and I will get them on there. But I did, then I used foam squares, and I popped, you can see I popped them up on there. But don't put these on until you try your lid. And then on the lid, and I'm going to put a couple on here, I used the chipboards, and these are from the chipboard. Did I use the phrases? Let's see. Yes, these are the chipboard phrases. And I'll use a couple more. The phrases are more of your banners and like tags, and then your accents are the pumpkins and all those other cute things. So you can torment me. So anyway, before you do any of your decorating on the sides, and this is, oh, let me show you. So if you're going to do a double lid, so you want this to be a gift and you want to double lid it, which is very cute. Make sure, see, you don't have a lot of space here. Yeah, maybe I do. You can still use your cut aparts, but you're going to want, see, that'd be cute. You don't want to double mat them. Well, and you don't want to pop them up on your foam dots, because I have to have this one on here. Very cute. If you want to put those there. So your top lid and bottom lid are the exact same size. And you can just leave it open for the pencils like I did on this one, so you can reach in. And then I just used 2 of the pieces from here. And I'll do the same thing again because I've got the truck. And you know, okay, they've changed these also, just so everybody knows. They used to have a sticky back, and you didn't used to have to sand off the little tabs. But they are now, instead of making these out of the United States, they are being made right here in the United States. And of course, when you make things here in the United States, which we're all willing, I am, to pay more, well, we take some sacrifices, which is fine. I used to peel that off the back anyway, but you will want to sand it down. And that's the only thing I noticed with this. They don't have the adhesive, which is just fine with me. And then I have a few of the accents left. I've been using them for another project, but I have to warn you, some of these you'll see are a little bit harder to get out. So you might be asking, okay, what is going on with these? Well, that's what it is. They've brought the manufacturing of all of our pieces and parts to the US so that they weren't being made out of the US, which is fine. Now, because I want to layer it, you do want a foam dot so it clears it. So, you know, sit right on top there. Whoops. This is just one I have left from the accents because I've been making our October craftology. Our October, one of our October retreat projects is made with this collection that we're having here in Utah. Just hold that for a minute, and then it just layers on top, or you can use stickers from the collection. The stickers are absolutely adorable. So you can use those on your box. You could even use the banner strips. I always tell you guys to get more than one set of stickers. And that is our Friday project. Now remember, next Friday I won't be live. I'm going to be doing that every other week with the with our main group, but I will be live on Authentique Tuesday or Wednesday. And I hope you guys enjoyed this project, and thank you for going through it with me. Measurements are posted, and they are correct, so we know the measurements are correct. Just don't do like I did and score wrong. Okay, well, Sally, I'm done. You can torment me now. And thank you again, everybody, and have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. And I'll see you around our Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations page. If you're not a member, be sure to send us a friend request. And after you answer the questions, we'll get you added. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.